Come on in.
Mr. Holdren,
Sir.
thanks for meeting me today.
Pleasure, absolutely, my pleasure.
How you doing?
You. We're great. How about you?
Good,
All
good. How are the kids?
Kids are great. Try not to get wet today is the goal in Indiana. I'm
Yeah.
afraid. Yes.
Yeah, I say,
Yes.
I usually when I see you, I always reminisce on the secret family stuff. But
Absolutely.
This was the first year that I wasn't able to participate.
I know. You gotta get there, dude.
I know.
You gotta get there.
I think that as a college student and as being and understanding time management and whatnot, I think that I had spent more time managing that day to try to be at secret families than I have.
It's
multiple other days.
It's brutal. It doesn't get any better as you get older and as you get married and the kiddos come and more life responsibilities come. It makes it harder, but you end up planning around it. Right now, you're just trying to get out,
exactly.
Trying to get in the real world, and been there, done that. We all understand that. So
I'm looking at the wall behind you.
Yes.
And I love the flag. So
yeah.
I have to ask your opinion on the last Masters we've had.
Probably elevated golf another step.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very interesting. People are on. They have opinions of Tiger, and I am not. I don't think he is a great human being, but I think he's been a great individual for the game of golf.
Sure.
Because he has brought people into the game that would not normally have even cared. And I'm not sure it has anything to do with a racial structure.
No.
At all. I think it has greatness is greatness and is very colorblind, I hope.
I mean, the funny thing was, looking back on that Masters tournament, it wasn't even really that well played tournament across the board for everybody. It honestly was a slow tournament. People didn't kick it up until Saturday, but when you get a certain champion, people are going to remember the 20.
Yeah, the world, people that don't know a lot about golf like Tiger.
Yeah. Which is, you could.
And that's just the way it is because it's he's one that. He's a bandwagon jumper. Those that want to get on a bandwagon because they didn't say anything when he was being stupid.
Yeah.
But he's not the first pro athlete to be stupid.
Oh sure.
So it's okay. He's perfectly fine, but he's also very good for the game. And he brought the games when he first was coming. The game was boring.
I grew up on Tiger Woods.
There was nobody there doing anything special. It was a blah, nothing game, and he brought Nike to golf.
Oh yeah, in all honesty, with the conversations that I've had, obviously with my dad, Jack obviously has more majors. People just don't look at Jack the same way they do Tiger. And if you would have told me Wednesday before the Masters started that Tiger Woods would win another major, I'd probably look at you like you were crazy.
Yeah, he got healthy. He's a great athlete, got healthy, but. The purists will always like Jack, but the people that like Jack are all dying.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and I was a big Jack Nicklaus fan and all that, but still, that he was. I don't like because Tiger also brought the game into play, but also hurt the game.
Oh, sure.
Tremendously. When the heroes fall off the cliff, it kills the momentum. Tiger's well liked and more well known for nothing other than a cell phone.
Oh, yeah.
And if it wasn't for cell phones, you wouldn't know any more about Tiger Woods than you were anybody else.
Oh, no.
And he would, and that's okay. And you know what? The game needed a new hero.
Sure. Which, in all honesty...
Because the other ones are dying. Palmer just died.
Yeah.
Nicklaus will be dead within 5 years, more than likely.
Yeah.
Those guys are they're dropping off. Seve and those guys they're all dying. They're just the age that they're dying. So
yeah.
You need some new heroes and it's okay. And being African American did not hurt him at all.
No,
because it's in vogue to be of color.
Absolutely.
And because they still feel like they're fighting uphill against the middle-aged white guys.
Yeah,
who honestly still rule the world.
Sure.
And they will probably because they do it by sheer quantity.
Yeah, but in all honesty, I would like him to continue to have dominance, but at the same time, this also kind of felt like one of those last hurrah type deals for me.
Yeah, I think he's got. We'll see. I think the next 10 weeks tell that story. If he can keep the momentum up, because they get on rolls.
Oh yeah.
They've all been on rolls. There's guys on tour that did a whole lot more than he did that they forget about because it's all short-lived. Because what did you do for me yesterday? Because you do not have careers anymore. You have parts of seasons.
Yeah.
We forget about Justin Leonard and remember 2 years ago Spieth won.
Yeah.
And Spieth can't get out of his own way now.
Yeah.
They get on a roll now, but they got to ride the wave while they can because it's only a year lived.
Sure.
They don't have 5-6 year runs anymore. I think Tiger's last run could be one of the last ones that you see for an extended period of time.
I would not disagree with that.
Unless and if not, it'll be a rookie that comes in that is some phenom.
Oh yeah.
And I don't see that. There's nobody out there right now.
Thought it was Spieth for a second there, but like I said, fizzles out a little bit.
Koepka's probably the closest one that's out there right now because he's top 10 every day.
Yeah.
But he's still to win. The problem is that when Jack and those guys were winning, there was only about 8 guys could win every tournament.
Which now
there's 50.
Yeah.
And so your competition, you're playing against 50 guys. They used to, if he knew he had those 4 guys down, he only had 3 more guys to beat.
Yeah.
And so that's game. So golf.
Have you played much golf?
Nope, not at all. Hardly none.
Yep.
Last couple of years, when Katie got out, we played so much for about 9 years. I just haven't. Work's busy and here's busy and.
Weather's just not very permitting for it either, right?
Well, it's more of a time commitment to other things. And,
sure.
And I don't have a reason to. Now, when Katie when she was playing in college, we would practice with her and play, and it gave her a reason to pay attention. Then when she graduated and golf was done, then I have to migrate toward tennis because I got 4 years with Maddie.
Yeah.
She got 1 more year. So she's at Olivet Nazarene playing on the tennis scholarship.
Okay.
So I switched from tennis. I'm from golf to tennis. Now I played in high school, but I don't play anymore.
Yeah.
Just too big.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tennis was my bread and butter, man.
Yeah, it was not. So I'm just out. So she's playing there. 1 more season, and then she'll be done, and then I'll probably go back to playing golf.
Yep. Hopefully have some time for it.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. So quit chasing monkeys around.
So Al, let's get into this the statement design and whatnot a little bit. Obviously, I've qualified you guys a little bit just from previous conversations.
Sure, with the elite guys, absolutely. Thank you. Yes, you guys are great.
But tell me a little bit about your role as VP and kind of what that entails in regards to collections.
Sure. My primary job is business development.
Okay.
That's what I do 90% of the time, and then the other 10% of the time is spent, as with today, I'm dealing with the small company, 10 people, you wear multiple hats. The design and within the statements, we have a lot of, Elite has provided the base statements for us for years and within our left. And a lot of ours doesn't change, but working with some of your design team, I deal with cut sheets and other things that really fall into the sales side of that more than anything else, because our industry is very standardized. We can't make changes.
Sure.
So we now Elite's has that total capability, and that's why we partnered with them. Typically, because of their ability to make changes on the fly, they know that industry, especially the healthcare industry, which is where all things are driven from, as a collection group with them, and then we use a couple of their different products for that because they have an understanding of that. So
sure.
Their understanding of that industry, they're always price competitive. They're never the cheapest, but they're one of the best out there. So for us, we get this kind of economy of scale, and and what's the benefit? Is it worth a few more pennies to have one of the top 2 or 3 in the Midwest out there? And the answer is yes.
Sure.
Because we don't sweat it, we don't worry about it. The letters always get sent every day. You buy a little bit of an insurance policy with Elite.
Absolutely.
But you do not get the cheapest price.
Part of what we like to do, and obviously especially working with companies that are relatively local and privately owned like us, is we like to kind of spread the idea of not feeling like a small fish in a big pond.
Absolutely.
So part of what I always outline, especially with potential customers, is, like you said, if anything, you're paying a few extra dollars to get with obviously an industry leader, but at the same time, you're paying for customer service too as well.
Absolutely, and with the dealings and us just starting, trying to start a relationship, with Elite is one of the reasons that you're here.
Sure.
Probably sitting here is because of that reputation, references, those have said, hey, this is who you ought to go use. So when we're out there looking for that vendor right now, and in doing that, and some other things that we've done with them in the past, but with this new project and what you and I are discussing, it really lends itself to go do that, because what they've done for us in the past has nothing to do with this.
Sure.
It has nothing to do with this. But past reputation, I think, has a lot to do with it. And for a company of our size, that's a big deal. We can't have problems. We've got to bring somebody in that really understands and really, more than anything else, really cares whether we live or die.
Sure.
And if they don't, I've got to move on to a vendor. If that means I pay a little bit more, I sacrifice something to be able to have that day-in-day relationship, that handshake relationship, that, hey, I can drive across town and get a problem solved. For us, geography with Elite is a big deal.
Sure.
And, we like to have partners that we can that refer us, is also become big deals. And it's so great if I have somebody here and they talk about them, for me to be able to refer Elite, I'm going, let's just get in the car.
Absolutely.
And, 5 minutes later, I can put them in hand with Gary Watson or Tom Simpson or his son or daughter, and I can put them in touch. And then that's good for them, because that's a potential client.
Sure.
But it looks great for me, because I just took care of. I killed 2 birds. I just had somebody I just referred them to, and they make me look great. And that client of mine says, God, thanks for introducing me. Those guys are awesome.
So,
and that's a big deal.
Going off of that then, do you guys find more success? I mean, obviously from what you just told me, I would like to say it'd be the latter of these 2 options. But going off of that, would you think that you guys prefer more of face-to-face communication with someone in like a key account, or do you guys still would like us to kind of involve CRM tools or whatnot? Because obviously with us being relatively short in distance from you guys, both of those options can be available.
We deal with a combination of those. The face-to-face option, probably with most of our vendors, plays in 3 to 4 times over a career.
Sure.
But I don't think it plays in day to day, month to month. It may be year to year, maybe.
Sure.
Once it is rolling, we are not a company that makes many changes.
Sure.
Our product doesn't change greatly because of federal regulations. There's just so many things we can and can't do.
Sure.
So it's not one that the technology, it changes how we do the same thing.
Yep.
That's it. So because of that, we don't go through lots of changes. So having somebody just come face to face and go, hey, how you doing, is really worthless.
Do you think the way that your industry is, just like you said, of not being able to have a lot of change from regulation, do you guys see that as an advantage or disadvantage, you think?
For us, it's probably a little bit of an advantage, because we're not a company that's just wealthy.
Sure.
That we just throw money at problems. We don't buy everything that's shiny that comes out.
Yep.
We're probably buying cars. We're the ones that buy off lease. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we let someone else pick off the shiny. Only the one, we can't afford it. Okay. And then 2, it really is not necessary. If it doesn't enhance what we're doing for our clients, just having it to brag about, that's not who we are.
Nope. It's collecting dust, collecting money.
Yep.
So obviously, since we worked with you before, I know a little bit about your company history. Obviously,
Sure.
1967 was your founding.
Yep.
Obviously, locally owned and operated. But when you guys made that switch from mainly physician and medical to kind of branching out, obviously that was good for business.
Sure.
What percentage would you say is more on the physician healthcare side as opposed to like your government collection?
We're probably it's probably a 50-50 split now. Okay. I think between all the general practitioner stuff and then the medical side, medical, dental, veterinary, all lobbed into that medical category.
No, I know that some of that has to go through like claim status and whatnot, but do you see kind of one of those two having more of a restriction on you guys as a business, or are they kind of relatively the same because of the regulations?
The regulations aren't as tough on the non-healthcare. You've got more, and even then, the healthcare regulations are there. They haven't changed a lot. It's just the solicitation that the acquisition of that business has become tougher because of medical mergers.
Sure.
Most physician practices now are getting gobbled up. We always call it the hungry, hungry hippo syndrome. The hospitals are getting gobbled up by bigger hospitals, and physician practices are then getting gobbled up by the hospitals. So physicians, smaller hospital, big hospitals, that's the chain of events. That's what's going on. That has slowed, but it's not done. Now they're either building, they're coming in, and now competition is there. So many communities that only had a hospital now have hospitals, and those that had hospitals are having more hospitals built because they're running out of towns to go to. So they're just like, well, we'll just go be the third wheel. There was always 2 hospitals there for 150 years. Now there's going to be a third one because they're not waiting. They're just going to say, heck with it. We're coming in. We're charging hard. You have so much. There's such a big baby boomer group that is good, that are getting ill, that are getting older, and it's a big population group. Those that were born out of the World War II soldiers, the children of World War II.
Which generation is that? Is it?
That's not. I don't know. It would be mine, but it'd be the old guys.
Gen X, I think maybe.
I don't even. No, it would be before then. It'd be the baby boomers.
Yeah,
I guess.
You're
so
right.
it'd be the baby boomers. So they're all getting old, and there's a lot of them. That guys came home from service and they started having babies, and there was a big. And we've not had another big world war where you have that where they were away, they come back, and then another explosion. Well, because of that, healthcare is still going to be a big monkey for another 20 years. So now after that happens, you'll see hospitals closing.
No kidding.
Because they don't have the population base. They won't have enough sick people, and they'll be fighting for it. So they'll either drive prices down or they'll drive hospitals out of business, and hospitals will be bought by companies and making them office buildings.
Does that correlate with business for you guys? So I mean, if
No, I won't. We won't be around long enough. Our ownership team will not be there past that 20-year window. So what's out there, we can continue to sell the similar products probably for the rest of our career. Now, whoever we would sell to will have to adjust to that market.
Yeah.
Now, our type companies are getting bought by large collection agencies, just like hospitals are buying physician practices every day. We're always for sale.
Yeah.
We're always for sale. The check's big enough.
Sure.
I know where the door's at.
Yep.
I can always leave. Take me a while to take the pictures down, but I can have the pictures out of here in a day and we can be gone. So we are always open to that, and that's within the partner group. They bought it as an investment. We run it as an income, but we would sell it as a profit.
Sure.
And we would, and all those guys are of the age, they would take it and stash it, and it'd be part of what they live on.
What's competition like battling those big fishes?
Oh, it's brutal. It's brutal because a lot of times they set the pricing. All the big markets for us are no longer available.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're off the chart. They won't consider us because we do not. They've gotten so big and there's fewer of them that they can demand whatever they want, and if you want to keep them, you either give it to them or they move on because there's somebody else waiting in the wings to take that business. Problem is they've driven the price down. Our price structure for those large companies, we would have had to reduce our prices by 40% to retain the business or to even be considered for it. Plus, we would have had to increase the product that we offer by 40%. So it's going in the wrong direction in two different directions. The big monsters couldn't afford to let them go away, so they just bought the bullet and their margins decreased.
And that's not worth it to you guys.
No, well, we can't afford to go do it. There's enough other business out there, and I always look at it as many times you see a hawk flying in the air with a blackbird flying closely to it.
Gobble up the leftovers.
Correct. And we are the blackbird. We are never going to be the hawk again.
Yep.
Can't do it because we can't put the money. We don't have the money. We're not to the size where you buy here and you share it with all your blackbirds that you're buying. we are the hawk. We don't have any blackbirds. So whatever we buy, we have to put out there. They have to put that out. But they get, there's the economy of scale because they buy it and then all their underlings get the benefit of it.
Yep.
Okay, well, we don't have any underlings. So what we buy, we're buying that, we have to buy that same product, pay the same price that they do. And we don't have enough, they have all that clientele because all these little agencies had one big client, which is why they bought them.
Yeah.
So they don't make much money on them for about 10 years. Then they get it totally paid for and it becomes an asset.
Sure.
And that's how some people grow. You either grow by running sales calls or you grow by acquisition. And you have
more oftentimes than not, it's acquisition.
Absolutely, and that's because salespeople are lazy. They have gotten lazy.
Sure.
Over my 27 years, salespeople, the quality and the quantity of really good salespeople has diminished by 70%.
Which is sad to, obviously, I have a passion for sales, so I mean, it sucks to see that the industry has a downtick in
No, but it also, if you're great, you're a superstar.
Separate yourself.
There is no middle. The middle's gone. They're either really bad or they're extraordinary. And I've also seen some of the best salespeople. And age, it's not an age factor. Age helps in sales depending upon the industry.
Sure.
Newer industries favor newer, young. Technology salespeople are all young.
Oh, yeah.
Because they actually understand the product because of use better than someone of my age. I would never go sell apps or IT or anything because it is not natural. It is a forced march for me. I don't want it. I don't want to know about it. I want to have someone that works for me know about it and just take care of it because I don't know the questions to ask.
Sure.
So I would always tell someone, and I've told a lot of younger guys, pick the industry that fits, that you actually have more knowledge base than the older white guys.
Sure.
I mean, that's just the way it is. It's funny, we talk about race and we talk about that because it does, the world wants race and gender to be homogenized.
Absolutely.
And it's just not.
It's not the case.
It's not the case, nor will it ever happen. Because
no matter how hard you push it.
No matter how hard you push it or how hard you want to try. And it's just, and it's hard. And the problem is people want to be, they want it so bad that they want to yell at everybody who doesn't believe the way that they believe. So they actually become a bigger racist than the ones they're yelling at.
It's just a circle.
It's an awful circle. And they don't understand that. I think that all assets, and use a young sales, person, you got to know the product and know the assets and know your audience.
Sure.
And your assets are always a high quality young African American female salesperson. If you can find one, they're worth so much.
Yeah.
There were so much, and they would just dominate in the right industry.
Sure.
In the right industry. So, I just always I think there's a place for everyone is the point. But you can't always shove a round peg in a square hole, even with a big hammer.
100%.
Yeah, and I think just, we miss that. And for us within our industries, I'm very cognizant of that. I'm not trying to push into an industry that our product that we have fit. And you can't retool just to go after one industry because I work in about 8 different silos. So we have to have a product that really works. All the products have to work together and they have to work in all silos.
Sure.
Now that's a little more difficult. Others are only specialized into healthcare. For Elite, that is really where they're based at. And because we still have a good chunk of their business. Mm-hmm. They do others, but they're not experts in that. They're experts in this.
100%.
So us going down that road and always having a pretty good sized footprint in there, that's why we like them. That's one of those hidden reasons, but it really makes sense for us to stay there. The other stuff, we figured out and they figured out.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
One thing that people ask me what's my best soft skill, and it should be for every salesperson. I'm surprised that more people don't say this listening, because with the exception of, I think there are a few industries, like I said, like Silicon Valley, most of the tech guys are going to know probably just as much about tech.
Sure.
In my industry, especially like this, maybe 1 or 2 times have I ever had a sales call where I thought I knew the same amount as the person I was talking to.
Sure.
Oftentimes I'm not. So I always tell people, when you work with me and when you work with my view of sales, you're always going to know more about your industry than I do,
Sure.
and which is okay. But that doesn't mean that I still can't listen and help you in certain regards.
You're just trying to dovetail a solution.
Exactly.
That's it.
My last question for you would be, an industry trend that we've seen from Elite is 10, 15 years ago, it was predominantly you would get most of your collection from insurance, especially in the healthcare market. Now that's kind of changed where it was 80% insurance, 20% individual.
Right.
Now that's kind of 55% insurance, 45% individual. Would you say that's the case for you guys? Or
That's true. Very true.
no,
That's true. That's true industry wide.
How has that changed your guys' viewpoint on collection and timeliness?
Well, it's helped a lot. It's pushed a lot of a bigger burden back to the individuals.
Yep.
That's good for us.
Mm-hmm.
That's good for us. Higher, large balances are not good for us because people will file bankruptcy and be done with them.
Yep.
Small to mid balances have become very, very good for us because it extends payments.
Mm-hmm.
That's residual business for us. What's good for us is not what the public perceives as good for them.
Yep.
We didn't create the problem. We're just trying to solve a problem for our client.
Sure.
That they couldn't solve on their own. That's it.
Yep.
If you can unclog your own toilet, you get a plunger, and if not, you call the plumber. Okay. We're just the plumber.
Yep.
We are not the plunger. So it is good for us, and it extends that. And if you can find the right and keep enough clientele within that and grow, and then we've had some. It took a while, but we got past kind of where we were and figured out that what we don't want to do or what we're not going to be able to do.
Sure.
But having done it the same way for a long time, we had to adjust who we were calling on, not necessarily the industry, but the type of clientele within that industry.
Absolutely. So in saying that, from what I've heard from you today, customer service is heavy on you guys.
Yep.
Don't want to feel like small fish in a big pond.
Yep.
Obviously, you've worked with us before, so you know in that regard we can still help you there.
Yep.
I think that from what you've told me about changes in collection, and obviously the amount of regulation you guys still have to be involved in, I think we could sit down with you and do something like statement design. I think we actually have a couple options that we could work for you.
Sure.
And then obviously, the big one is collecting large amounts of money from the individual now. We now at Elite have established this payment plan that's based on an algorithm. Since payment plans to people with low credit scores, doesn't send payment plans to people with high credit scores, obviously depending on the amount they pay.
Sure.
I think that option could actually work for you as well. So if you have interest in doing this, how about we schedule another meeting with you and other players from Atlas, and
That'd be great.
we can do that.
Yep.
Obviously, most of what we do is proprietary.
Yep.
So all of you sign an NDA.
No problem.
Before
Just send it over. We'll get that back to you.
perfect.
At that, when you get it back, if it's all good, just send me a couple dates. Within the next couple weeks, I'll rally our team.
Perfect.
We'll pick one and we'll make it happen.
Ballpark, I usually can give you about 3-4 days that work for our team.
It'll be no problem. Mondays and Fridays are our best for our team in general.
Perfect. Al, I think that's all I need from you today.
Awesome. Thanks for your time.
I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Pleasure.
And
You too.
if you decide you want to play some golf sometime,
We'll do it.